Hello and welcome to all the Maximals and Predacons out there. I'm Joe here with me, my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And today we've got another video for you all. This one I really like. We get introduced to my favorite Autobot, Hot Rod. Well, actually I prefer him as Rodimus, but anyways, either way, same character. Hot Rod is honestly one of the funniest, but also one of the most intriguing characters in Transformers history. Arguably the greatest leader, probably in history, and the greatest strategic mind in history of Transformers. He is, well, I say that because I'm also biased towards him, but we're first introduced to him fishing, where he's trying to comfort Daniel because Danny misses his dad, Spike, and Hot Rod tries clumsily to comfort him and does show quite a bit of empathy. Danny, though, gets excited about seeing the shuttle land once he detects it on his device. But the thing is, Hot Rod, we immediately get an impression of his personality when he says, "Talk about dull, Daniel," as he tosses away the fish he had caught. And he was very excited to catch and said, "Oh, she's a whopper, all right." So what this shows us is, now, okay, he cannot consume the fish, but the sport of hunting and fishing he enjoys. The sportsmanship of it, the social aspect he enjoys. The thing about Hot Rod is that you look at his background, like all around him, it's green, it's blue. You compare it to the lifeless factory and command center that Optimus was in that we first see. I'm going to be honest, it's a difference between a coffin and a field. Optimus, his surroundings seem cold and depressing and bleak. While with Hot Rod, you can't help but kind of feel a bit of joy, just, or at least peace and serenity at the fact that there's so much life. And though humanity has been pushed to the brink, life goes on. Water is still blue, grass is still growing, the mountains still loom high, and there are still humans enough to continue the species. So it's not like everything was lost. So you can't help but feel hope when you look at Hot Rod in this scene. And Hot Rod, of course, his scorn for the shuttle, I think, is also thematically showing us a character who scorns technology because it doesn't hold any fascination for him. Daniel's fascinated by it. Now, he has a hoverboard, which we don't even have that technology today. And the thing is, he still has a fascination with outer space, with the stars, with technology. Hot Rod doesn't share that. Technology, well, the shuttle landing is also an important military and political event. Hot Rod has no fascination. The thing about politics, war, and technology and machines is that they are things. They are not alive. So they represent, in a way, death. And humanity and grass and fields and flowers and vegetables and animals and water, these represent life. So, you contrast the two's attitudes. Danny's very much a child. The shuttle's all but like a shooting star to see. It's a big event. Hot Rod, he's already seen a million shuttles on Cybertron. What does he care? And given that we see him obsessing about a fish and just generally fishing and enjoying life, I think we get a good intro and insight into his philosophy on life. That life is beautiful and should be enjoyed. In a way, the cruelest thing that could happen to Hot Rod was him becoming leader. While it was good for the Autobots, he clearly probably would not find much joy in politics and military affairs because he seems to just want the quiet life. There's a huge difference between him and, say, Luke Skywalker, whom he's partially modeled after. Luke wanted to run off to war to fight the good fight. He's essentially one of the volunteers from World War I or II. Hot Rod is drafted He's talented, he's skilled, but he derives no joy from it. He deep down would rather stay on the farm and just, you know, get married, have a good life, let the rest of the universe worry about itself. But this is where Hot Rod shows himself to be, despite his youth, very mature and wise beyond his years.
These two characters are both very underrated characters.
Yeah.
They get too much flack. They're too hated.
Yeah, Danny is a character whom I really like. He's a good kid. He essentially represents something that was a common theme back in the day, like with Old Yeller, the boy who's left home when his dad has gone to war. And it's worse for Danny because his mom also went off to the war. He has nothing. He has no siblings. He has no parents. He's essentially cut off. All he has is Hot Rod and the local Autobots who treat him, some of them treat him almost more like a pet. And Hot Rod seems to act more like a nanny and truly thinks of him as a boy. But it seems like only Hot Rod realizes the depth of Danny's loneliness and isolation, and that Danny needs other human beings.
The fact that Danny essentially has an Autobot assigned to him as a bodyguard.
Yeah, because Megatron will probably go after him. But notice how there's no humans in the fields or near Autobot City. I wonder if there's any on even the continent it's on. I think it's in America, which should show the level of destruction that was probably heaped. I'd venture to wager that there are still a lot of humans, probably at least in the thousands, if not the millions, because they do turn the tide of the war, according to Beast Wars. But this doesn't mean that Danny has immediate contact with them. This will damage a child being isolated from other human beings. Because we are social animals, like it or not. We must have contact with other human beings in some capacity. That aside, Hot Rod ends up starting to race the kid who clearly is trying to race him and have fun, with Hot Rod just more mildly exasperated, and then telling him when he catches him after the hoverboard is a little smashed up and the kid gets thrown off of it. What was it? If you're gonna ride, Daniel, ride in style, before he transforms. Clearly, Hot Rod likes his transformation and thinks himself, okay, there is a bit of a narcissistic streak there, where he thinks himself good looking, which is pretty funny. That said, Hot Rod wastes no time breaking several traffic laws and speed laws. Not that there's much laws left, considering there's not many people around. And of course, we're introduced to Cop, who's busy setting up a wall of sorts. He's building something. And Hot Rod, who told Danny, oh, why settle for a peak when we could go up to Lookout Mountain? Now, for one thing, this is Hot Rod's obsession with nature coming in, as he wants to look out from the top of the mountain. Clearly, he likes his mountains and his rivers and his fields. So, given the scorn later RC heaps on him for neglecting military duties, I wonder if maybe for Hot Rod, landing on Earth after such a machine-like cold place as Cybertron was akin to seeing light for the first time. And maybe this is why Hot Rod neglects his duties and just loves prancing around in the wilderness so much. It's alive. It's thriving. There's none of the coldness of Cybertron's mega city.
Who's to say that Hot Rod isn't the type of Autobot that, oh, war is done. If there was a way to transfer his consciousness to a human body, he'd probably go ahead and do it.
Yeah, but it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably do it just so that he could live as a human. That said, he smashes past the barrier, smashes against Cop.
Which shows a part of his devil-may-care attitude.
Yes, I love that. Oh, he's just like, who cares? And you immediately have Cop, who curses at him, waving his fist after him. And a good rendition of J. Jonah Jameson was Spider-Man. Maybe they should have gotten these two voice actors to play the two roles. Might have been fitting. And you have Cup who says, "Turbo riding young punk. I'm going to take you down one of these days," for all intents and purposes.
Which shows that this isn't the first time.
No. Hot Rod has a trouble streak. And he's a troublemaker. He gets into trouble, but he's not malicious about it. He just sees it as they're surrounded by, like I said, life. Like, enjoy it. Life should be enjoyed. Learn new things, because we do see over the course of the film he is learning new things. Learn, live, love, laugh. These are what makes life worth living. If all they're going to do is come to Earth and build a second Cybertron, what was the point of even leaving? Oh, that's right. Cup says, "I'll straighten you out yet." To which all I can say is, I wouldn't count on it. That aside. Oh, and in the background, we have Stan Bush's excellent Dare. I love this song.
Oh, yeah.
Dare.
This soundtrack is legendary.
Yeah. And it's about fulfilling your dreams and daring to go beyond what anyone expects. It's perfect. It's the perfect song for Hot Rod. The Touch is perfect for Optimus and Rodimus. But Dare is perfect for early Hot Rod, when he's young, devil may care, and just wanting to have a blast. And of course, the first one to spot that there's a hole in the shuttle is Danny. And then Hot Rod activates his own sight-enhancing scanner of sorts and sees indeed there's a hole and several people that don't really belong on the shuttle. So that Hot Rod is the one who gives away the fact that the shuttle has been infiltrated, saving Autobot City. But of course, he does not get recognized for this heroic act. Neither does Danny, because, some people were determined to hate him, unreasonably so. But that said,
At least
that'll be what we tackle. Well, the battle between Hot Rod and Cup versus some of the Decepticons will be what we discuss next time, along with the initial attack on Autobot City. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button, as though you were Hot Rod smashing himself in car form against Cup.